to Embers of Liberty.
Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Inherently and historically oppose the secret society.
We, as Americans, have the capacity now, as we've had in the past,
decided long ago
to do whatever needs to be done
and unwarranted
to preserve this last and greatest bastion of freedom.
far outweigh the dangers
In this present crisis,
justify it.
government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Nope.
What?
Yeah. No, wait, there we go.
Okay. I don't know why it does that every time, but welcome back to Embers of Liberty, where the problems with tech never stop, apparently. Super annoying.
It's the damn Russians.
It's freaking like
It's the Russians.
every week it does that, and we always forget that we've got to change that. Anywho, so we're back yet again. Another glorious, terrible week. Super not happy about it. What have you got in your hands? That's super loud. Stop it. I hate you.
Can't hear that. No, I was like,
He's going to make me drink already.
I think Cody's making you drink.
No, Cody's not here.
Exactly.
Well, for Cody to make me drink, Cody would have to be here. I don't like how this... Nope.
Other way.
Wrong way. Meh. Whatever. It's going to be one of those nights, it feels like.
Nah.
So, we're back. I've said that like 3 times now. But, you know, it's been a pretty...
I prefer to be front instead of back.
I don't even know where to go with any of this right now. But I will tell you that it's time to do our normal thing. Joe, how was your week?
It was good. Nothing to share. Nothing to report, sir.
Nothing new or unusual to report at this time.
Let me see. No, I'm not really.
Yeah, about the same. I really didn't have much of anything go on this week, so it's just been one of those weeks. Went to work, did all the normal stuff. I hear a child in there.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay, I was like, what is that noise?
Pretty sure that's a child. But anyway, well, I guess weeks are covered. So that was the shortest weeks are covered ever. But weeks are covered, so let's talk freedom things. America! So
I do not understand how I can hear myself breathe from back here, but yet my voice is muffled.
your voice is not muffled.
It just gets on my nerves.
I don't know. I can't really hear you breathe. I can when it's that close to your face, though. Anyway, you just throw my train of thought off all the time.
It's because I'm very very attractive.
That has absolutely nothing to do with it. Has more to do with the fact that you just randomly blurt out whatever pops into your head all the time. Quite frankly, it's very distracting. Probably the most distracting thing that you could possibly do. Bigly. So this week we're going to talk about a lot of things, right? First off,
They were showing Hocus Pocus at the festival.
I don't fucking care.
No, I was just blurting out random junk. What were we talking about?
Stupid.
What were we talking about?
I will strike you.
Do you want to be stroke?
So, to start out with, Biden apparently had some pretty big gaffes this week, including forgetting that it was John Fetterman and not his wife that's running for Senate. Because, who cares about that?
Did he actually say that Jill was running for...
No. Not Jill, John Fetterman's wife.
Oh.
The candidate from Pennsylvania who is so useless now that he's had a stroke that he won't even do interviews because when he does, they expose him as needing artificial intelligence to actually understand English spoken words. Something that he's not going to have on the floor of the Senate. And, also, John Fetterman also is a professional useless person. Like, his parents gave him $50,000 a year so that he could do nothing.
Wow.
He also looks like one of the idiots that would hang out in the Walmart parking lot in his giant truck because he thinks that wearing a Carhartt and oversized basketball shorts makes him look cool and relatable, when in fact it just makes him look like a fucking idiot. Normal people when they're campaigning for office, they, dress nice. Yeah, kind of.
Do you have a video to go along
You want
with
to be presentable. I do, but
okay.
I want to talk about Fetterman in general.
I know, but do you have like a picture of him? Like, I want to see how he's dressed.
Joe, just pull him up. You have a computer right in front of you.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to do like a screen share, man.
Speaking of, I do believe that I have a, nope, I don't have a video in here, but I think it is in the Discord. Nope. Damn it. See, I could have swore that I put one in there, but apparently I did not. Anyway, we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Biden. We're going to talk about AOC getting absolutely wrecked again in yet another town hall. We're going to talk about Steve Bannon and the fact that he got sentenced to 4 months in jail for contempt of Congress. And, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite, not the sack, Black Debbie. And how she sucks at everything. Also, the British Prime Minister resigned after only 45 days in power.
Yep, shortest Prime Minister reign.
That is crazy.
Is he in sweatpants?
Yes. Absolutely. 100%. This is the same guy, of course, that had to look down at his shirt to remember that he was trying to say Fetter Woman instead of Fetterman. You literally just added 2 letters to it because, abortion is like the biggest deal for all of them. Also, did you know what? Here's where we're going to go first, okay? We're going to go straight to the abortion issue because Stacey Abrams yet again, makes herself look like a fucking idiot for no good reason.
She doesn't exactly
Joining us now, the Democratic nominee for governor of Georgia, Stacey Abrams. It's great to have you back on the show. Curious at your biggest takeaways as to how your race is going right now, and if you'd like to chime in on President Obama's comments.
I think President Obama is absolutely right, and it's what we're seeing on the ground. Right now, we are walking away so often from the real issues that people care about. Abortion is an economic issue. It's been reduced to this idea of a culture war. But for women in Georgia, this is very much a question of whether they're going to end up in poverty in the next 5 years, because women who are forced to carry unwanted pregnancies end up in poverty within 5. They're 4 times more likely to be impoverished in 5 years. They're twice as likely to be on food stamps. This is an economic issue, and it's being reduced.
Hold on. I have an actual quote from Stacey Abrams after this interview.
Her damn teeth look like the gap in the
Are you ready? Could you shut up? I have an actual quote from Stacey Abrams, ready to go. She released a statement after this interview.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Stacey Abrams, everybody.
There's more of a gap in her teeth than there was in the Alabama score.
Who gives a shit about her teeth?
My eyeballs.
I don't care about her teeth. I care about the fact that she's
I can't help but stare at her teeth.
Obese, idiotic black woman.
I can't help but stare at her teeth.
Who thinks that abortion is an economic issue and not a, you're murdering babies issue.
Well, proceed.
Used to this culture conversation. We know that for families that have faced the issue of inflation, they care about housing prices. They care about whether they can afford to go to a doctor. That's why I'm fighting for Medicaid expansion in Georgia, and why we're having conversations about a governor who makes his money in real estate and will not spend $400 million in eviction rental assistance to keep people in their homes. And so it's important that we
because it's not the government's job to do
not
that.
To these high-level professorial conversations, but to real impact on people's lives. And that's what we're seeing is working on the ground, and why we're seeing such turnout in Georgia.
So I'm curious. I was going to say, in my 4 campaigns, I never had to talk about inflation, warned about it, but never had to say, hey, here's my idea on how you get grocery prices down or how you get rent prices down. But I'm not alone. This hasn't really happened in a generation. You're out there on the front lines campaigning along with everybody else, where people are looking to you saying, I can't buy a starter home like my parents did when they were in their 20s or 30s. I'm having trouble paying groceries. I'm having trouble paying my bills, let alone getting my kids into college. Gas prices are going back up. I'm so curious. What do you say to a voter who's struggling to even pay their rent now? Because my gosh, rent prices for so many middle-class Americans just exploding.
Well, one, you say that the global inflation is a global phenomenon, but the pain is local and real. So you don't deny what people are feeling, but then you explain what a governor can do. This governor has refused to address the cost of housing. He has said that he doesn't want to upset investors by giving local governments control over helping control housing prices.
Again, this is not a function of government. Free markets work for a reason. And if you continue to pump money into the system, the rent prices are just going to continue to go up, which is going to further impact single mothers who didn't get an abortion because they're not pieces of shit.
Agreed.
I want to make sure they have the help they need. He says that it's okay because he doesn't want to upset these investors. That 30% of housing units in Georgia have been purchased by out-of-state equity investors. I have a plan to solve that. He doesn't really talk about the issues that we're facing in healthcare. We're losing a level 1 trauma center. Georgia's going to be down to 4 level 1 trauma centers for an 11 million person population, 1 for the entire metro Atlanta area. And he won't do a thing to solve the problem by expanding Medicaid. So I talk about, if you need access to healthcare, it's going to be more expensive under this governor. We've already lost 6 hospitals with his leadership or failed leadership. And so you take the big issues and you let people understand what a governor can do to address it. I'm the only candidate talking about need-based financial aid so middle-class families can send their kids to college without going deeper into debt. Those are the issues we have to talk about. And to the points you were making earlier, we have got to lean into the resources that federal Democrats have delivered to Georgia, that hardworking Georgians have delivered to themselves to create a $6 billion surplus in our state. My plan is to invest that money back into our communities, back into our families, back into our small businesses. My opponent wants to give it away as tax cuts to the wealthy.
So, Ms. Abrams,
False.
back to the root of Joe's question that he just asked you. You're running for governor of Georgia. I would assume, maybe incorrectly, but while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What can a governor, what could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
But let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price.
Here's the part of the interview that I really wanted to get to.
This is the part. Yeah, I heard this the other day.
This is fucking disgusting.
For gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations. We don't have the luxury of reducing it or separating them out, but we also have to talk about what a governor can do. A governor can address housing prices. A governor can address the cost of education. A governor can put money into the pockets of everyday hardworking Georgians instead of giving tax cuts to the wealthy. That's what I talk about on the trail, and that's what's resonating. But let's not pretend that women, half the population, especially those of childbearing age, they understand that having a child is absolutely an economic issue. It is only politicians who see it as simply another cultural conversation. It is a real biological and economic imperative conversation that women need to have.
So here's the thing, okay? You don't just get pregnant. You mean
wait. You mean it's a choice?
Be quiet.
You mean it's a choice?
Be quiet, Joe. Let me finish my point. 99% of the time, you chose to have sex.
You mean it's a choice?
Which means you chose to risk getting pregnant. And just because you made a shitty decision that could potentially end in pregnancy does not mean that you are exempt from the consequences of your own actions.
It sounds like some sexism, Justin.
That sounds like the real world.
The real world is fascist, Justin.
Hold on. If I'm caught robbing a 7-Eleven because I'm struggling, is it still a crime?
Yes, because you're white.
Exactly. Well, not because I'm white, but because I don't live in fucking California or New York or any of these other places that have decriminalized being a criminal, which is fucking insane. But the point is, this woman is sitting here telling you that abortion is an economic issue because she wants women who don't want to be pregnant yet made the decision to have sex, which the known consequence of is potential pregnancy, to kill their babies. This is the same woman that said a couple of weeks ago that the heartbeat in an ultrasound is a manufactured, man-made thing.
Well, that was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. She is completely out of touch with reality. Also, I don't know if maybe, you didn't realize this, Stacey Abrams, but you lost in 2016, and you're going to lose again because you're a terrible fucking candidate, and you're an election denier, you're an anti-white racist, and you're a baby killer. So,
and just a dumbass in general.
So for that, you get the coveted fuck you.
Eat a dick.
Thank you, Joe.
And her mouth looks big enough to eat the whole thing.
Put down the Twinkie and run away. You need the exercise. Anywho, so going from that to yet another Democrat politician getting owned, it would appear that AOC has been owned yet again at another of her own town halls. Yeah, look at that smug bitch.
We know why. We know why you're mad. Let's talk about it.
I am not a man. There's only two fucking genders.
Okay.
Uh-oh. What's happening now?
People get black bagged. They're going to get taken out.
Code red. Code red. Where'd she go? Oh, wow. Exit stage left.
She was just like, shit, I'm about to get attacked.
So, you know, AOC has got to go. And she's over there dancing like a fucking snob. Like,
that was definitely a let them eat cake kind of moment.
Yeah. Like, I don't care what you have to say. First off, you're going to get fucking kicked out of Congress when you're up for re-election.
And I'm here for it.
Me too. So, I mean, obviously, I enjoy seeing things like that happen to AOC because AOC is, well, she's, you know.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Representative D. Twitch.
And we can't call her AOC anymore. We have to call her...
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Representative D. Twitch.
Because, you know, she doesn't want to be called AOC. Because that's so much more important than what her constituents want.
I'm going to call her AOC.
Yeah, I'm going to call her AOC too because she's a bitch.
She's lucky we don't just call her bitch.
Again, man, there are titty pics out there, and I want them.
I'd subscribe to her OnlyFans.
I wouldn't. I would not give her a dime of anybody's money.
I'd find somebody that can hack.
Listen, man, all I know is that there is
so much unity.
So much unity that you can't even shake a stick at it. Right? So, why? Why, dude? They're all going to be fake.
I know.
Unbelievable, man. I can't believe you sometimes.
Oh, what the shit? That's happened.
Don't be a dick.
Am I distracting you, Justin?
Yeah, pretty much. So, you know, that was fucking hilarious. But there's a real issue with politicians that want to mock their constituents in the way that she just did. Right? Like, you were supposed to be there working for these people. And instead of...
And pretty much openly mock them in front of themselves.
Instead of hearing what they have to say and actually talking about it, you just start dancing on the stage because you're a bitch. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it is. She's just being a bitch. And I am not here for that. Also, I want to tell you real quick, my friend Jason at work said Conspiracy Corner last week was chef's kiss.
Oh, just wait till next week, bro. This week is going to be lit.
This week's going to be good too, Jason.
Literally lit.
Literally lit. You're going to enjoy this one. But he basically walked to my desk and he was like, "You mess with squirrels," because of the Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
Like, but yeah, I mean, he enjoyed the substantive Joe's Conspiracy Corner, and quite frankly, I did too. Well done.
Well, you will have a good one for this week.
I actually gave you props. Take note. It is 8:55 on the 22nd of October, and I gave you props.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
It's cold.
Anywho, so there's that, but we also need to talk about the fact that Liz Truss literally only made it 45 days as the Prime Minister of Britain. That's not good.
It's the shortest run time of any Prime Minister, I do believe.
Yep. Could you not do that? What is this crap? Anyway, okay.
Were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent. And our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. We delivered on energy bills and on cutting national insurance. And we set out a vision for a low-tax, high-growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. This morning I met the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week. This will ensure that we remain on a path to our country's economic stability and national security. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. Thank you.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. So, couldn't deliver on the stuff that they were expected to deliver on. Super weird, right?
It's not like, because, every candidate in America delivers on every single thing they say.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So this is going to, there's a lot of talk about this becoming a contagion. Like, a lot of these world leaders are just going to start stepping down.
Yeah, because
the expectations are unrealistic.
Right.
And
the world will descend into chaos.
I get it. But at the end of the day, you were elected to do the job, do the job.
You're not going to be able to do it to a T. I mean, it's pretty much impossible.
It's not possible, unless you talk to a Biden supporter, because then they're like, well, look at all this stuff that Biden's done.
He farted in front of the Pope. That is beyond.
He shit his pants.
That is historical.
He's the reason that we have an AR-15 Loa called the POTUS Shatus. And it has a poop emoji on it. That's a real thing.
He is the reason for the poop emoji.
He is. He is the reason for the poop emoji. Also, the fact that he just, he keeps getting lost. So I'm just waiting.
He is the inventor of hide and seek.
With himself.
With himself.
He doesn't know where he is. Frankly.
Hitler himself learned about the fist clench from Joe Biden.
I wouldn't go that far. I think Pop really wanted to model the Adolf Hitler clenched fists. But at the end of the day, all of this shit makes you really wonder, what is going on behind the scenes with all these world leaders.
Welcome, Probst.
Because there's got to be more. Oh, before Probst vanishes again.
Probst, your cup.
Your cup is at Lonnie's parents' shop.
Yes.
At the beach. You need to go retrieve it if you have not already.
I think reach out to Lonnie for the address to that place, I believe. Or reach out to you.
I don't know what the
reach out to one
is.
of us.
Well, somebody will tell you where it's at.
Yeah, reach out to one of us.
Shoot me a message on Facebook. I'll get you the information.
Yeah, there we go. That'll work.
Anyway, now that that's out of the way, and I remember.
But we do have it down there. It is down there for your retrieving.
Ready for you. There's
the cup, the pig, and the note.
The pig and a note signed by all four of us.
Did Lonnie get to sign it?
He did sign it.
Okay.
I think
that was pre-Lonnie.
It was pre-Lonnie, but Lonnie came on and we still had the cup, so Lonnie signed it and sent it.
Gotcha.
And, yeah. The pig is signed, not.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, now all of that leads us to how many more are we going to see resign?
I mean, I'd be happy to see Biden resign.
I would too, but I wouldn't be happy about what follows him.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, that's not something that I really want to see. You know, I don't want giggles.
We did it.
We did it, Joe.
Did you hear the latest giggles?
Stupid.
Did you hear this week's giggles?
No, I didn't.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, you find that. But you know, so the British Prime Minister couldn't live up to the expectations of the office, and Joe Biden just doesn't know what the expectations of the office are, as evidenced by this.
But first, this week, President Biden gave a speech at Fern Hollow Bridge in Pittsburgh and again showed America and indeed the world that he is a man who knows what he's doing.
Over $1.2 trillion.
The what?
$200 billion, $1 trillion. No one's quite sure what he meant. But you know, I'm sure that was the only muddled part of the speech. The rest was crystal clear.
And Bobby, I promised you, he'd been on my back to get this done since I got elected president. Don't forget the lockjaw. So I just think, I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but so long as I couldn't say no.
I don't know what he means, but he wasn't done there. Then the president made this incredible claim.
My grandfather, Finnegan Scramble, would really be proud of me right now. No, I'm not joking, he would. By the way, he was an All-American football player, John, in Santa Clara.
No, he wasn't an All-American football player. When Joe says, I'm not joking, he means I'm lying. There are many, many examples of
even the Australians are on to it.
President at the end of a verifiable lie. And it wouldn't be a Joe Biden speech without a confused walk-off.
Oh, music's on. Time to... where do I go?
He's always...
over there. Okay. Where's Jill?
Oh dear. Pretty much elder abuse at this point. We shouldn't laugh. And here's a little breaking news for you. While that intellectually inept president is in the White House, the US has lost complete control of its southern border. Latest stats revealed that last month more than 227,000 illegal immigrants were encountered at the border. That's close to 4 times. That's close to 400% increase from the average number of September encounters when Donald Trump was in the White House. So far this fiscal year, there have been over 2.3 million encounters at the border. And that, of course, does not include all the illegal immigrants who cross without being apprehended. Can you believe that? 2.3 million.
I love Sky News.
I do too. But, you know, so it is elder abuse at this point. Like, the man isn't there. He's not there. Like, he is gone. Pop has left the building. And there's no excuse for this shit anymore. You can't sit here and tell me that you think that he's all there. Nobody can.
The lights are off. Someone's taking the furniture. I wouldn't expect to get that deposit back either.
Correct. I know where we can find Kamala. She lived in my head for a little while.
You know, I would pay good money if somebody would make that.
Oh my God, dude, we could start doing
red versus blue. We could do voiceovers.
We could start doing voiceovers and little skits. Like, that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
It'd be hilarious, I think.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't expect to get that deposit back either.
Sounds like he took all the furniture and the drapes. I wouldn't expect to get that deposit back either.
Where is Kamala? I need Kamala to tell me what to think.
Exactly. It continues to get worse and worse and worse. And I just can't fucking believe that this shit is happening. And not only that, but you know, we already touched on
that top thing. Reminds me there. Did we cover that last week about them talking about it?
Yes, we did.
We did. Okay.
Yep. You know, so we talked earlier about the fact that he forgot. He's talking about John Fetterman being elected into Congress, right? Which is not, hopefully is not going to happen, because now Pennsylvania, that seat is a toss-up between him and Dr.
Oz.
Dr. Oz. Which,
imagine, like, honestly, you literally have another a brain dead guy and a celebrity
and a snake oil salesman. Yeah, it's crazy, but I think this is.
President Joe Biden spoke about infrastructure at an event on Thursday in Pittsburgh. During his remarks, he spoke about Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Fetterman is running for United States Senate against Dr. Oz to replace outgoing Senator Pat Toomey. President Biden thanked Fetterman for running and then spoke to John's wife, Giselle Fetterman, and said she would, quote, be a great, great lady in the Senate. John Fetterman has come under fire during the campaign, with his detractors questioning his fitness for office.
Let's make this extremely clear right now. Joe Biden said the quiet part out loud, because John Fetterman is not all there. Not all there.
After he suffered a stroke earlier this year. A doctor released a letter earlier this week saying that Fetterman, quote, has no work restrictions and can work full duty in public office.
Listen.
And Lieutenant Governor, I was saying something nice about you. That's why I went out. And but I'm saying we're going to try like the devil to keep you from deciding to leave. I wish you didn't.
Oh my God.
And John, thank
I really
you,
hate how it does
very
that.
much for running. I really do appreciate
I
it.
bet Joe Biden really would like her in the
a great lady in the Senate.
A great lady in the Senate.
I bet he would. Look at her. I bet he is all about her. Look at her. She's not bad looking.
So, in case you were curious, you know, Fetterman is clearly not mentally there. And I really need the clip of this. Let's see. This is probably a good one.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Gosh.
I want to know what that thing on the back of his neck is.
So, wait.
That must be why he wears a hoodie all the time.
I think
or have I fit 1,400 people into my basement?
That's weird. Either that or he's got one of those goiter things.
Look, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you.
I want to
so
name
much.
it Eugene.
Because really,
look at that thing.
Tonight, for me, it's about being grateful. Just grateful. Tomorrow is 3 months ago.
Tomorrow was 3 months
ago. My life could have ended. It's the truth. But I'm so grateful to be here tonight as well.
Okay.
To another event. And Giselle recognized that I'm having a stroke.
Let's see. I need.
Tony, I probably wouldn't be with you tonight. I just got so grateful. And I'm going to 2 years ago, I was talking to the media.
Yeah, this is not what I wanted. But so this is the problem with nobody but us being here. No, let's go.
And you can count on us to eliminate the filibuster if you come out and step with us. We will be able to stand with you in D.C. I gave away the lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania, the only lieutenant governor in the history to do that. And let's get some stuff done for America. Who would ever think that I would be the normal one in the race here, you know, with that?
I mean, to be fair, I mean,
you can count
I think he's doing all right.
Okay, first off, what's
I mean, dude's had a stroke and he still had to give a speech better than Joe Biden.
Well, yeah, but that's not hard. That's not hard to do at all. A literal brain dead person could give a better speech than Biden.
I mean, that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here.
I mean, but this is from last week, but still.
Now we focus on the Democratic candidate in another close Senate race, this one in Pennsylvania. Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman just gave his first in-person, on-camera interview since having a stroke 5 months ago. Fetterman showed NBC News how he uses closed captioning to read questions in real time to overcome the physical effects of his stroke. Robert Costa has the latest on this story.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
Can voters trust that you will be able to do this job on day one?
Yeah, of course.
In a recent interview with NBC News, which aired yesterday, Pennsylvania's Democratic Senate nominee John Fetterman was seen using a closed captioning device, as he has in some settings since his stroke in May.
That auditory processing where I'll hear someone speaking, but sometimes I'll be able to be precise on what exactly that they're saying. I use captioning.
The interview was the latest prism into the Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor's recovery process, which has become a political target in one of the nation's key Senate races, with Republican Mehmet Oz pressing Fetterman to disclose more about his health.
I'm calling on John Fetterman.
Fetterman's campaign has disclosed his use of the captioning technology several times since he began his post-stroke media interviews.
I feel like we have been very transparent in a lot of different ways when our doctor has already given a letter saying that I'm able to serve and to be running.
I mean, respectfully, that letter from your physician, that was 6 months ago. Don't voters deserve to know your status now?
Being in front of thousands and thousands of people and having interviews and getting around all across Pennsylvania, that gives everybody and the voters decide, you know, if they think that it's really the issue.
After the interview aired Tuesday night, Fetterman's campaign said in a statement, John is healthy and he also still has a lingering auditory processing issue that his doctors expect will go away, adding he's been transparent and talking openly about his health, while also showing voters how this closed caption technology helps him communicate more effectively.
All eyes now turn to the October 25th debate between Fetterman and Oz in Harrisburg.
So, I don't necessarily have a problem with him using closed captioning stuff. What I have a problem with is his wife demanding that the media apologize for bringing it to light and suggesting that it is a hindrance, because that kind of thing is not on the Senate floor. Like, you're not going to have that.
I mean, but we not yet. I mean,
not yet. I mean, they could.
You never
but
know.
At the end of the day, like right now, as it stands, you can't understand the questions that are being asked of you. Why should people vote to put you in office not knowing whether or not you're going to be able to actually debate on the floor? I think that's a serious concern, you know, and honestly, like, I would be concerned if it was a candidate that I was interested in voting for.
Right.
You know, I would probably say, well, the guy can't really understand much of what's going on around him, so probably not going to vote for that person. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't really know. Joe, why don't you take it away for a few minutes, because I have to pee.
You always spring it on me, man. Just.
I'm sorry, dude.
That was loud.
You can't help when nature calls.
I'm going to talk about Russia.
Talk about Russia and Ukraine.
All
I'll
right.
be right back.
All right. What in the
hell?
The hell?
Oh, it was the.
You done?
The flagpole.
Oh, I thought that was you done broke my quarter round. I thought. All right. To find something here, let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's see, CNN. Looking at shortage of medicine in Russia. We didn't prepare this part of the show. So Ukraine faces power cuts after Russian strikes. Ukraine's power grid sustains record damage in Russian strikes. Let's see. So apparently Russia has been targeting Ukraine's power grid more and more. Let's see. Oh. All right. Well, if I can get my computer to scroll here. Here we go. Ukrainian military looting has increased incursion as Russia orders evacuations and pulls back troops. Yeah, you can't just spring that on me. There's a lot of dead air going on here.
Bro, I can't help it.
Russia says Ukrainian shelling killed 2 civilians in a settlement near the border.
So,
in Russia, the power they're hitting Ukraine's power grid, which is not going to be good now that winter's coming on.
Correct. It's going to be pretty awful for Ukraine. But I mean, what do you expect?
So they have hit the power plant in northwestern Ukraine, but I believe it was just let's see. It doesn't say what kind of power plant it was.
It's probably just a standard power plant, not a nuclear power plant.
Obviously not, because it's like destroyed.
So, here's the thing with the Ukraine war. Like, I'm getting really fucking tired of this shit. Like, really, really tired of it. Because, frankly, the more I look at it, the more it looks like Ukraine was kind of provoking Russia with things that were happening in the Donbass regions, right? So I keep seeing more and more about how Ukraine was being aggressive towards the pro-Russia areas of Ukraine. You know, Russian speaking, wanted to be citizens of Russia, not Ukraine. At this point, I really don't know what to think of it other than something's happening that nobody else is talking about.
I think it would be fair to say that really both sides are probably pretty bad and corrupt. So we really don't know who to believe.
It's obvious at this point that they're bad and corrupt, and the fact that the mainstream media has taken such steps to actually retract all the things that they said about Ukrainian neo-Nazis prior to Russia invading and is, now openly supporting the Azov battalion and all this other shit. Like, what do they have on our government or on Biden or whoever that has caused this drastic turnaround? That's what I want to know.
Well,
because they quite clearly have reversed course on what they thought of Ukraine.
Who?
The media. In America in general. You know, it seems more and more like Democrats are pro-war warmongers.
Yeah. And yeah, because when
they're
Trump
the
was
ones
president,
that are pushing this.
When Trump was president, they hated Ukraine.
Correct. But now that Biden is president, they love Ukraine. They want Ukraine to be independent. And I find it kind of funny that the same people who say that we should ban assault weapons here are literally giving money to people with assault weapons to fight for their independence because, well, that's kind of what the purpose of the Second Amendment is here. Like, to defend against foreign invasion and tyranny.
But I think here, though, is the idea that, oh, we're supposed to be, like, completely... a lot of Americans have this mentality of that we're different than the rest of the world and we're more mature and we're more developed and like we don't need all that stuff here.
But we are different in the sense that our founders made sure that we
but I'm saying they see us as different as in we're better basically and we don't need that stuff.
But we're not.
Right.
We're not better than that.
We're not much different than a lot of other places.
All it takes is one bad thing happening and all of it goes to shit.
Well, you saw just what happened around here when the tornadoes hit that one year.
Yeah.
I mean, just basic power outage that we knew was going to come back within a week or two.
Yep.
Some people lost their mind.
Yep. It's absurd. And
like we still had basic services.
I'm legitimately just over the whole Ukraine thing. Like, I just want them to figure out how to end this.
Somebody hurry up and drop a nuke so we can just end this.
Because, honestly, I'm tired of my tax dollars going to Ukraine.
Speaking of nukes.
There's things that need to be taken care of here that are not being taken care of because we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and then it vanishes.
Oh, look at that.
What?
Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists 2 days ago. Nowhere to hide. How a nuclear war would kill you and almost everyone else.
Fantastic.
But however,
you're going to pull that up.
Apparently, Radio Free Europe. I'm reading some of these headlines here. Let's see. Apparently, according to Radio Free Europe, why Putin would prefer a stalemate to going nuclear on Ukraine. No, I think Putin would prefer to go nuclear.
Putin prefers to go nuclear and then be shoved out of a third-story window.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to happen to him if
Putin backs off.
Happens.
Putin's going to die.
Well, I don't think that Putin's going to die if he backs off. I think Putin's going to die if he continues. Like he's a man with no way out. I feel like. So.
Okay. Oh yeah. So nowhere to hide. Nuclear war. Let's see. You want to bring that up over there? Or you want to send it?
No, I want you to read through it,
oh,
and then decide whether or not it's actually worth talking about. Like, is it actually substantive?
Well, this summer, actually, just like they tell here, this summer the New York City Emergency Management Department released a new public service announcement on nuclear preparedness, instructing New Yorkers about what to do during a nuclear attack. The 90-second video starts with a woman nonchalantly announcing the catastrophic news.
It's fucking crazy.
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why. I just know the big one has hit. Then the PSA video advises New Yorkers on what to do in case of a nuclear attack. Get inside, and stay tuned to media and governmental updates. But nuclear preparedness works better if you're not in the blast radius of a nuclear attack. Otherwise, there's no going into your house and closing the doors because the house will be gone. Now imagine there have been hundreds of those big ones. That's what even a small nuclear war would include. If you are lucky not to be within the blast radius of one of those, it may not ruin your day, but soon enough it will ruin your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, more fire and brimstone stuff. Like, we know what the consequences of a nuclear war are going to be. It's going to, well, first off, you called it forever ago that climate scientists were going to say nuclear war might solve global warming.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, and they have released articles that say as much. Like,
you were like, no, they won't. And I was like, no, they will. And
no,
sure enough, they did.
It doesn't surprise me, honestly. But the fact that they're even tying this to the climate is absurd. It's absolutely bananas. And frankly, like, I'm not here for it. And you need to shut up. Like, stop. Just stop. Okay? But it's the whole war in Ukraine is really starting to piss me off. I'm tired of seeing all these blue check marks on Twitter with their fucking Ukrainian flag and their profile name or whatever. And just stop. Okay? At first we were on board. We were like, yeah, Ukraine, they're a bunch of warriors, whatever. Not so much anymore. I'm not, at least. I don't think that this is something that we should be supporting. And honestly, the same goes for Russia. Like, I don't think that we should be supporting Russia or Ukraine in this. I think that we need to stay the fuck out of it and let them solve their own little shit. Because obviously, it's either a money laundering scheme for the big guy, or it's the big guy's being extorted because of the information that they have on Hunter. Which, I said it openly when he won the presidency. The fact that his son was involved in foreign governments has this huge criminal activity that's documented, and the fact that his son clearly does not make good decisions should have disqualified him from being president to begin with, because of the fact that all they have to do is kidnap his son and they'll give him whatever he wants.
And, you know,
and
that could be what they're doing.
I'm sorry, but Hunter Biden, probably not that hard of a guy to find.
And you mean, I think you're right. They could have information on him and be like, hey, if you don't help us, we're going to release all this information.
And so,
which would mean, like, the end of his presidency.
At the end of the day, I don't want another dime going to Ukraine. I don't want to support Russia. I want us to focus on America and what's going on here. Because, you know, it's just one of those things. Now, as far as like supporting, so Probst says you should support the Ukrainian people but disapprove of the corruption. The people have no control over the corruption. And I agree with that. But I don't think that supporting Ukraine as a country is what we need to be doing. I think, you know, the Ukrainian people, obviously it sucks. It's a bad situation for them.
But we can send aid to the people without sending military aid.
So, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of funding something that we shouldn't be funding to begin with. I think that's my main issue with the whole.
Well, I sent a video to the Discord when we were talking about Kamala laughing. It's in the link repository, you fucking idiot. I say it on purpose.
President Kamala Harris back in the Bay Area.
And I'm not sure
political reporter Greg Lee tells
if this will show it or not.
Trying to rally their base with 3 weeks until Election Day.
Great to be home. Vice President Kamala Harris took the stage at San Francisco's Cowell Theater for a discussion on climate action.
Bringing together all the folks who historically fought for voting rights, who fought for marriage equality, who are fighting for reproductive health rights, and are fighting to have smart climate policy. And let's bring everybody into the room.
VP Harris back in the Bay Area as part of a swing for the Golden State,
tackling.
3 weeks from the midterms. She's also here raising money for Democrats. Harris spent Monday in L.A. talking about reproductive rights and at another fundraiser.
It's all about the fundraising. California is where the money is. In Northern California, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and Southern California. So it's money.
Last week, President Biden held events in Southern California and raised money for his party. The VP is the latest high-profile Democrat to stop in the Bay Area. First Lady Jill Biden earlier this month, Hillary Clinton last week, Secretary of State Antony Blinken joined by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in the South Bay Monday.
Bay Area Democrats dominate the national party, from Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris to Gavin Newsom's influence. They're coming to try to shore up Democrats in the country They want to support the Biden agenda.
On Tuesday, the administration announced the first offshore wind lease sale off the coast of Central and Northern California. During the discussion, VP Harris touted the administration's efforts to fight climate change, including the $370 billion included in the Inflation Reduction Act.
So much about this movement that really is the intersection between the economy, between what we must do that is about public health, what we must do that recognizes that those dangers to public health invariably affect our most vulnerable.
As Harris and Democrats try to get voters to the polls in hopes of keeping control of the House and Senate, the pendulum appears to be swinging back towards Republicans in the latest New York Times Siena College poll. It shows 49% of likely voters say they plan to vote for a Republican to represent them in Congress, 45% for a Democrat. The economy and inflation, the top issues for voters. In a statement, a spokesperson from the Republican National Committee said Kamala Harris is back in San Francisco, but she isn't talking about gas prices, record inflation, or the homelessness crisis in California because she can't be bothered to talk about issues that voters are actually struggling with.
We are in a very specific moment in time, and this window is going to shut on us if we don't act with a sense of urgency.
At Monday's fundraiser in L.A., Vice President Harris touted the administration's accomplishments and said, quote, "This is the most important midterm of our life." In San Francisco, Greg Lee, KTVU.
Oh, I thought that was her hackling about, because it was on Shapiro or one of them.
So here's the thing. Democrats keep coming out here and saying these are the most important midterms of our lives and that our democracy is at stake and blah, blah,
They've literally said that every election.
Okay, first off, we're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. We have democratically elected representatives, and then we have the Electoral College to select our president because majority rule is a bad thing. Like, that's the whole would you stop that on camera?
It hurts, man. I'm trying to get it out.
Well, tough shit. See, you do shit like that, and then I'll lose my train of thought.
You were talking about Kamala Harris, talking about the election. I wasn't trying to distract you.
I hate you.
At least you
How
have.
many times do we have to teach
At least you
this
have some
lesson,
sort of
old
feelings for
man?
me. It's good to know you have some feelings for me.
Stupid.
Stop doing shit that distracts me. I can see you.
You mean my eye twitch?
Do
you see this? Do you see my eye twitching? You see that? See how it's going like that? You see that? It's still doing it slightly.
You're about to see my hand twitch
you see this?
across your face. I mean, if you can't tell, we've been friends for what, 20-ish years? 4th grade? Yeah, about 20 years.
It's been 75 years.
It's been 83 years.
It's been
anyway
since that one time.
I mean, so that one time at band camp.
By the way, he's always been grumpy.
I have always been grumpy.
Always been
if you knew my mother, you would understand.
Like, even before we were friends, because I would go into the bathroom and I would see him in the bathroom and I would fantasize. No.
Fucking weird.
Like,
you were like 8.
Every time I would see him, I would be like, "Aren't you that person that lives beside my cousin?" And he would be like, "Yes." And that's all he would say. Like,
I don't remember
he
any
always
of
said
this.
Like, he always said it like grumpy.
Yeah, because I've always been generally annoyed by people.
I think he's just always been grumpy.
I just hate people.
He's always grumpy.
That too, but I hate people. People suck. Anywho, so we've like gone off in several different directions, and now I really don't remember. Oh, they talk about how we're, a democracy. We're not a democracy. Majority rule is a bad thing. At the end of the day, that's the whole reason for the Electoral College, and nobody seems to understand that on the left side of the aisle because, you have like 7 population centers that are all on the coasts, and then the rest of America gets fucked by them. And so I had this conversation with my boss like several times this week about New York and the fact that I have no desire to visit that shit state. And he's like, you can't say that all of New York is bad. It's literally just like one spot in New York that's causing all of that. And I was like, yes, that's the problem. The rest of the people there are getting punished for the shitty positions of one city.
Yep.
Like, it takes one population center to turn a whole state to shit.
Yep.
Like, and then they want to move out of those states with shitty policy and go to states that don't have those policies and then vote in politicians that are going to put those policies in place in the state that they move to and ruin that state too. They're trying that shit in Texas.
Yep.
And it's just fucking stop. You're leaving those states for a reason. You're not leaving them just to leave. You're leaving because you're fleeing exorbitant taxes. You're fleeing bullshit policy. And then you're voting it in to the states that you moved to. Because you're too stupid to understand that Democrats are all the fucking same.
It's the same concept of these people that are like, oh no, communism will work this time.
It's never really been tried.
It's never really been tried.
It has.
This is like this. So like what they're really thinking is,
and Venezuela is proof that when communism is tried, you end up eating dog.
These people are thinking, oh no, like a Democrat's never really been truly in charge. Like these are just like corrupt Democrats. Like we need a good Democrat.
But here's the thing: Republicans are just as bad.
Oh yeah,
all of them are. Like the majority of Americans hold libertarian beliefs. But because of the stigma of being a third-party supporter and how you're wasting your vote, nobody votes for people who actually care about what they care about. And that's the biggest problem I have with being a libertarian is like, if I want my candidate to get elected, I need my candidate to have the same benefits as a Democrat and Republican have. Like, if you're going to be on the ballot in all 50 states, you should be on the debate stage with the other two.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
And the fact that you're not allowed to debate the Democrats and the Republicans because you would fucking destroy them on literally any issue is absurd. And I don't know, man. But in other news, Steve Bannon was sentenced to 4 months in jail following contempt of Congress.
I think he should be sentenced for more just for being a dumbass.
Well, first off, I think that Congress isn't a law enforcement agency or a judicial agency, and they need to stop pretending that they are. They subpoenaed Trump, which we talked about that last week. He doesn't fucking have to comply. What are you going to do? Are you going to file contempt of Congress charges on the former president of the United States? No, because that's the biggest political fuck up you could possibly have. Like, there is no way that they're going to arrest Donald Trump for not complying with Congress. He doesn't have to. Not only that, but even if they do charge him, when Republicans take the House and the Senate in November, they'll just be like, nah.
Yep.
All he's got to do is wait for the midterms to be over. So it's just dumb. All of this January 6th shit is just a waste of our time, a waste of our taxpayer dollars, and it's Liz Cheney's final attempt to be relevant in some way. I mean, why else would you have a committee where you can't even call witnesses if you're not on the Democrat side? It's 100% a witch hunt. It always has been. Everything that they've ever done to try to remove Donald Trump from the public sphere of influence has been a political hit. Because he's not one of them. He doesn't act like one of them. He doesn't think like one of them. It's disgusting. But anyway, moving on from that, Black Debbie has been at it hard this week.
Whoa, Black Debbie. Damn Amber Lamb.
Whoa, Black Debbie. Bramba damn bazoo. So, I can't remember which one this is, but we're going to go straight to it.
If President Biden's top domestic priority is inflation, why doesn't he have more to show for it?
He's been very clear about making that his number one economic priority. And he has done the work. And he's done the work with congressional Democrats. When you think about the Inflation Reduction Act, Republicans are actually going to make things worse.
No, they're not.
And Democrats want to do the opposite and make things a little easier.
No, they don't.
How do you respond to that?
The fact that these people think that we're stupid is unbelievable.
Well, to be fair, look who's president.
Yeah, just because he's stupid doesn't mean we're stupid.
No, I'm saying like we obviously are stupid enough, at least as a collective.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but also, like, could you just not?
I want to hear what that dude's take on that is.
In 2020, when Congress.
What?
Never mind. You go ahead.
I've already left that
Yeah, you're
video
good.
because I don't care about Republicans' take on it. I care about our take on it.
Okay, go ahead.
Congress was debating funding for replenishing the SPR. Democrats blocked it, saying it was a bailout for big oil. Why is it a good deal for taxpayers now?
Well, right now we are dealing, again, I laid out what the Strategic Petroleum was created for. It was created for these moments, right?
Wrong. No, it wasn't.
Supply disruption, right? There is a
for
war
wartime?
currently happening in Ukraine that was started by Putin, a brutal war.
Not
and
our war?
This is what these moments were for. When you see these global challenges, remember, this is a global challenge. This is not just happening here. It is affecting the global markets. And so this is an opportunity to do what we can to help American families.
Hold on. You know
Maybe
what?
you just wouldn't tax them so much.
No. You know what you could do to help American families?
Piss
You
off.
could fucking pump oil here.
Yeah.
You could,
that too.
You know, re-greenlight the Keystone Pipeline. You could give gas and oil leases and drilling permits and all of these other things that you're not fucking doing. That would solve our problem, right?
Yep.
Or am I right or am I wrong?
You let me see. Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because sometimes I think I'm right and I'm not, but
Right.
this time I'm pretty right. And
I think you're right.
It
is the rightest you have ever been.
Regardless,
Excuse
this
me,
woman.
excuse me. You
This
is
woman
the
is
rightest.
You are fake news.
fake news. Fake news.
She needs to go back to a little Debbie box.
A Black Debbie box.
Black Debbie.
That could be seen as.
Don't care.
Yeah, me either.
To the purchasing of the oil at $70 per barrel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were meaning like why would we tap? Yeah.
Why would we
So
tap?
can you say your question one more time so I heard it
In
properly?
2020, when Congress was debating funding for replenishing the SPR at a low price, Democrats blocked it, saying that it was a bailout for big oil. But now President Biden said today that it would be a good
Yeah,
deal
I know
for
exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about when Donald Trump was trying to sell it at $20 per barrel to buy it. Look, it was a different.
Hold on. No, it wasn't a different thing. So to give you some background here, Donald Trump in 2020,
I don't remember,
was trying to top off the Strategic Petroleum Reserve because oil was at like $20 a barrel. $20.
Excellent price.
Superb price.
For us anyway.
Now Joe Biden wants to sell some of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve at the current price and then buy it back for $70 a barrel. Which makes zero fucking sense since, they blocked it when it was $20 a barrel and said it was a win for big oil. Weird, because it seems like you're giving big oil more money for less oil right now.
Yes.
Like that's your plan. And you know what? When it gets to the point where they're like, hey, we're ready to buy this oil back, the price just went up. Because that's what they're going to do.
Of course.
Like, you said the quiet part out loud. You can't fucking say, I'm going to sell it now at 96 or whatever the price of a barrel of oil is right now. You can't say, I'm going to sell it right now, and then when the price goes down, I'm going to buy it back. Knowing that you don't have the resources to control the price of the oil, and that the people that you just tried to get to play political games with their reduction in oil production are the ones that do control that. They're going to fuck you. Because as Saudi Arabia said, we're not friends. Our alliance is purely strategic. Like, sorry, dude, this is not going to go the way you want it to go. And you need to stop pretending that it is.
Different time then. It was not the same situation that we are currently in. The reserve was close to full capacity at that time, and so there was no reason to make that type of repurchase.
That literally makes no sense.
You pointed out that this isn't the first time that President Biden has called out the profits of oil companies. A couple months ago, it was talking about first quarter profits. Now it's second quarter. And so at this point, does the president feel like oil companies are ignoring his calls on this issue, the fact that they've continued to keep these profits?
No, he doesn't think so. They actually brought down the prices. We have seen that in the past several months, but they need to come down more. And that's what the president is trying to make sure that continues to happen. And so he's not going to shy away from it. He wants to make sure that, as we saw in the chart, they did come down. They were able to do that. If you saw at the beginning of the chart, the prices dipped, and it met what the retailers were paying. And so now we're seeing the difference, that 60 cents difference. And so we want them to bring that down to meet where consumers are.
I think that was on full screen the entire time. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to see. Whoa! Don't do that, Jomez. I love you, but don't do that.
He's like, I need some screen time, boy.
And then, the last of the clips.
Okay.
Thank you, Kareem. So you're asking oil companies to further lower gas prices. What makes you think that they are going to listen to an administration that is ultimately trying to put them out of business?
How is the administration trying to put them out of business?
Well, they produce fossil fuels, and this president says he wants to end fossil fuel.
So look, you kind of asked me this question yesterday, and here's where we would say U.S. oil production is up and on track to reach a record high next year. We've seen that from from when we see their profit margins. It's record high. And so, in fact, the United States has produced more oil in President Biden's first year than under Trump's administration's first year, but at the same time, oil companies are raking in record profits, while more than 9,000 approved drilling permits remain untapped by the oil industry. There is no shortage of opportunity or incentive for oil companies to ramp up production. This is something that they can actually do. It is available to them. They can do this, and also they are getting the profits. And so because they're getting, I just showed 60 cents on the chart, more profit, right, that we're seeing, more higher costs that we're seeing than what retailers are paying at the pump. They can bring that down. They've done it before. You saw that at the chart in the beginning. They were able to bring prices down.
And one more that folds in the president's top domestic priorities. In Georgia, the president's endorsed candidate for governor, Stacey Abrams, is suggesting that one way to mitigate the effects of inflation is to get an abortion. Does President Biden agree?
I did not see her comments on this, so I don't know the context of this. Again, I want to be careful because this is a political debate, and it's related to a midterm, an election. So I'm not going to comment on
that. Weird.
We all love our.
Weird, because
she didn't even really answer the question.
No, she never does. No, none of them are ever going to actually answer the question. That's the point. Regardless, I want the sack back.
Kind of do too.
Because I'm really tired of hearing her go, when you look at,
And I miss her dukes with the deuce.
Yeah. They actually had fun exchanges. Now,
Black Debbie's just like,
I'm
better than you, shut up.
I'm better than you because I'm black and gay.
She is gay?
Yes. That was one of the big selling points. She's a LGBTQIA plus minus divided by a little tilde that goes over the N in the Spanish dictionary, ampersand, pound symbol, black woman.
Star sticker.
Like, congrats. Do you want a fucking gold star for being gay and black? Nobody cares. Literally none of us care. That's kind of like the Supreme Court justice that literally only got put on the Supreme Court because she's a black woman.
We know who's not gay or black? Joe. And it's time for his Conspiracy Corner.
It is indeed time for Joe's Conspiracy Corner. That was a good segue.
Yeah, it was.
I'm really proud of you for that one, Joe. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really am. I'm super proud of that one. And go,
Justin. Do you know what we're talking about tonight?
I do believe that it has something to do with directed energy weapons.
Directed energy weapons.
So I'm assuming that you want to go.
Well, hold on. So let's just talk about what do you think? Just directed energy weapons. Like what do you you think about direct? Like,
I think
when you think
when
of one,
I think of directed energy weapons, I think large lasers.
Do you think of freaking laser beams?
I think of freaking laser beams attached to freaking sharks' heads.
All right. Well, I mean,
freaking sharks with freaking laser beams attached to the top of their freaking heads.
That's pretty accurate, but minus the shark.
Minus the sharks.
For now.
Who knows what will happen?
Israel has their spy birds, so they may have their spy sharks eventually.
If you missed last week's episode, Joe's Conspiracy Corner was a real banger. It was birds aren't real. And I think it was glorious and beautiful, and Jason thought so too. So I've got high hopes for directed energy weapons, Joe. So please tell us about directed energy
according
weapons.
This is Wikipedia.
Not a reputable source, but
I mean, it's Joe's Conspiracy.
I'll let it pass.
No, I do have one for Lockheed Martin too, but we're going to go this one first. A directed energy weapon, or a DEW, like Mountain Dew, is a ranged weapon that damages its target with highly focused energy without a solid projectile, including lasers, microwaves, particle beams, and sound beams. Potential applications of this technology include weapons that target personnel, missiles, vehicles, and optical devices. Now, Lockheed Martin is actually researching directed energy weapons.
Yeah, they actually just delivered a extremely powerful laser to the U.S. government.
So
not too long ago. I actually talked about that on the show a couple of weeks ago.
But their website's not wanting to load.
Of course not. Now, that kind of weaponry is...
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about this one first. This is not a conspiracy. This is
fact.
Fact.
But it's
but we're going to get to
designed
conspiracy,
to take out intercontinental ballistic missiles, jets, things of that nature.
Right. However, and actually this stuff has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Because Boeing, I do believe, had a jet
that had one on it.
That had one on the tip that took out missiles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we covered the fact side. That's all we're going to do for the fact side. However, so I haven't watched this video yet, but apparently officials say 130 suspected victims of possible energy weapon. Let's go check it out.
We are learning new details tonight about suspected directed energy microwave attacks targeting CIA officers and top national security officials. We first started hearing about them, and we told you about them here on Special Report in 2016. Shortly after, then President Obama opened the embassy in Havana, Cuba. National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has the latest tonight about a suspected attack here at home.
U.S. officials say there are now 130
Hold on, pause it just real quick. Do you remember that?
I do, actually.
That little thing going on in Havana, and
Yeah.
I thought it was very weird. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Victims, mostly CIA operatives and U.S. diplomats, being treated for brain injuries, debilitating headaches, and vertigo. The targets, they believe, of a directed energy microwave weapon.
There's a mysterious direct energy weapon that is being used, and it is causing, in some cases, permanent traumatic brain injury.
New indications suggest the incidents go as far back as 1996. Two individuals working on the NSC believe they were targeted in 2019 and in 2020, just after the election.
Sick graphic,
one was
bro.
near the White House and one was walking her dog. The Russians have been working on mobile microwave weapons for years.
We have to get more information, and we got to tell the public what's going on.
The U.S. Air Force and tech firm Epirus have developed a mobile high-energy microwave weapon to bring down drones. Epirus is also working on a miniature variant of the weapon that can be easily transported on a pickup truck. This is the type of technology that might be targeting American diplomats.
Russia certainly has the means and the motive to conduct these attacks. I mean, there's some evidence out there that certainly points to Vladimir Putin, the KGB operative in the Kremlin, being responsible.
The only victim so far to come forward, former CIA head of the Europe desk, Mark Polymeropoulos, was targeted while visiting Moscow 4 years ago and forced to retire.
It's pretty insidious because it also doesn't leave any kind of, open scars or wounds.
Mark lobbied for treatment at Walter Reed's National Center for the Intrepid. As part of his therapy, he painted this mask of a Superman cape with a broken CIA shield with an arrow through it to symbolize the moral injury he felt when at first he was not believed by the CIA.
The CIA is now taking the issue seriously, but without the actual weapon, U.S. officials don't know who to blame and how to stop these alleged attacks. Brett?
Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Jennifer, thank you. We'll continue to follow this one.
Okay. So
that's sketchy.
That's sketchy. But so when I think,
so I've got no. I've got more videos on there. I know what you're talking about. Go to.
Okay, so the second one.
It may be the second one.
It's got to be the second one because that's the only other one.
Okay, try that one. Yes.
Okay, so this is probably more along the lines of what I was thinking.
We're thinking more along the lines of coming from like a satellite.
Correct.
But look at, you can see this. Watch this. It's very weird. It kind of takes a minute, so be patient. It's slow-mo.
Now, where is this?
It's in the Middle East somewhere, I believe, because you can see the flags flying on the back of the cars there.
Yeah. Now, that looked like it was just a missile.
But look at that.
Oh, that's weird.
You don't actually see a missile fly in from anywhere.
No.
And this is, like I said, in slow motion.
But that's in a different spot. I mean, look at where that beam is.
Yeah.
Compared to where the explosion.
But there is no missile anywhere that you see, unless it's just a bomb.
I mean, it could be, but I mean, just out of nowhere, boom,
Shazam,
mega Shazam.
It almost looks like a small hydrogen bomb or something. Like, that looks intense, man. Or one of those, was it Moabs or whatever, mother of all bombs?
Well, so what I was gonna suggest is that looked like a thermobaric.
That could
warhead,
be that.
But
and then also
that beam of light really is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But you know, so
here's
one.
At around 9:45 p.m.
And this
on
is from
Sunday,
InfoWars,
October 8th of
obviously.
2017, the Tubbs fire began in Northern California. And by the time the sun came up, over 1,000 homes were destroyed. Videos and photographs show how this so-called forest fire
Oh, yeah, I remember
seemed
this.
to spare the wild and somehow jumped from house to house. CNN reported that the so-called forest fire
I mean, it's super
jumped
weird,
to the
right?
freeway. Hundreds of photographs show cars with melted trails of aluminum alloys from what must have been an unprecedented amount of power. The average forest fire burns at 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit. Aluminum alloys will melt at temperatures between 1,200 and 2,000 degrees, but many of these cars were nowhere near a forest fire. Some cars were flipped over. The heat must have been intense. Not only was it able to melt aluminum alloy, but consistently, every home that caught fire was leveled to white, powdery ash in less than 12 hours. By October 31st, the Tubbs fire had destroyed 5,643 buildings. PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric.
Hold on.
PG&E
Scroll back just a little bit. All right. Wait,
First,
forward just here.
the Tubbs fire
right there.
had
Pause it. No, this could just be the way the buildings are made, but does it not look like a pathway right there? to you?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's
a tornado, almost like a beam, which is like.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I think of directed energy weapons, this is what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Like,
And I was getting to that too. I was getting to the forest fire stuff too.
This is clearly not a fire. Like, none of those trees are even touched.
Right.
Those trees would have been burned up too.
Right. And how do you explain the stuff, the cars on the freeway and stuff catching on fire?
You can't. There's green right beside them.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Fuck it, it's insane.
Destroyed 5,643. PG&E was found responsible for 16 of the fires, over $10 billion in damages. All of this while producing $1 billion a year in profits for the Rothschild Investment Group. PG&E warned the public that the fires
Fucking
will not just
Rothschilds.
continue,
That's something else that we
but
need to
will grow
do.
larger every season. They warned their investors that future liability will force PG&E into bankruptcy. In June, utility officials told state lawmakers that they needed protection to survive the coming fire season. And on August 31st, California state legislature passed a utility bailout bill to protect PG&E, its shareholders, and Rothschild Investment. At sunrise on Thursday, November 8th, the Camp Fire wildfire began in California. It has all the same anomalies as the Tubbs fire and is already twice as devastating. Many people are asking the same question: is this an attack? In 2003, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld and General Richard Myers admit to the development of directed energy weapons and microwave technology. In 2017, Lockheed Martin shoots drones out of the sky with an invisible laser beam that burns them from the inside out. The technology exists. The evidence is there. But the motive? Perhaps it can be found in the United Nations Agenda 21, wherein certain areas of the country are proposed to be off limits to human use. It just so happens
That's
that
what we need to cover too,
California
Agenda 21.
fires seem to all be within the proposed no human use areas. New regulations and insurance policies are preventing homeowners from rebuilding. And meanwhile, they claim it is the new normal and are now claiming it is a phenomenon of global warming. One thing is for certain: the governor of California has already assured that the people will pay for all of the damages. This is Greg Reese reporting for Infowars.com.
So, again, we're
Right there. That one, the directed left. No, keep going left. Right there.
I think that's the one that I just did.
Is it?
You're listening to the Hour of the
no.
Time.
Oh my
I'm
God,
William
that's
Cooper.
long.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have pen and paper by your side. Tonight we're going to take off. This is the age of deception.
Look at that. Do you see that? Like, none of the forests were touched.
No, it's only the housing.
Right.
That's not normal.
Like, and how do buildings that are like across the street from each other catch on fire?
Oh, I mean, that's common for buildings across the street to catch on fire. from a fire across the street because of the fact that, you know, it just takes one ember.
Right.
You know?
But I don't know. That's still.
But for it to be that precise.
What I'm saying is if it's not hitting the trees, like they're right beside the trees, and the trees aren't catching fire.
Right.
And
those houses are gone.
Right.
They're not just. They didn't just catch on fire. They are gone.
Right.
That's a problem.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, manipulated and lied to since the beginning.
Or something. You don't see, then you know what you're looking for then because you spotted it and it looks like it's not a body in there, but you know it is because you finally spotted it. And then you look at all the other cars and you start noticing, holy shit, all the cars have a body in it.
Weapons of mass destruction, man. Mass murder is what just happened.
It's murder.
This is the
guy
weird.
down from Southern California, he donated $1,000 to each Paradise High School student and the janitors and the staff.
Let's see. Now, I mean, obviously, wildfires are an issue, but are these actually wildfires, or are they being started under the guise of this is a wildfire, but then being used to destroy houses and all this other stuff? Okay, so
Probst, what do you know about directed energy weapons? He says he claims to know a good bit. I just want to see what his take on it is.
Let's go to Reddit.
Oh boy, Reddit never.
They never cease
Never
to
disappoints.
give me good stuff. Oh my God. There's a whole subreddit. I'm not really seeing the things that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to YouTube. And we're going to go right here. Nope. I mean, we'll go right here. Like, again, you got green right here. These are houses. Were houses. Just gone.
To be fair, the trees do look slightly scorched.
Some of them, yeah. But like those trees right there, those should all be gone too. Forest fires don't do this. They don't leave the trees and completely demolish houses.
Right.
That's not how this works. They don't leave these little bushes.
Well, the bushes
and destroy the trees right beside, and destroy the house right beside it. Like that house.
Which, granted, if they had just had a rain and the trees had taken up plenty of water, that could be part of it.
Not to this extent.
But I really do believe that with the fire burning that hot, it probably should have burned them.
Yeah, I mean, like right here, you got two trees, but they were literally right on the edge of the house.
Right.
Like, I mean, this is just to believe that this is a wildfire doesn't make any sense just from what we can see. Because wildfires destroy everything. They don't just destroy houses.
Right.
But I mean, we can just keep going down this.
Let's look at like an actual wildfire destruction. I just Google wildfire destruction.
Well,
there you go. Look at that.
No, I don't want to go to that one.
No, I think that's more like the one that happened to the CIA guy.
Yeah.
Some people think that the Twin Towers were hit by a directed energy weapon.
Let's see what this is about.
The 110-story World Trade Center towers were designed to withstand the impact of a commercial jetliner. Yet within 2 hours
we all
of the
know
attacks,
that jet fuel doesn't melt
both
steel
collapsed. So why did the Twin Towers fail so disastrously and so quickly? Under public pressure, the U.S. government commissions a $16 million investigation from the National Institute of Standards and Technology in an attempt to explain the structural failures of the towers. They examine the debris from the disaster, run hundreds of computer simulations, and conduct extensive lab tests. The official government report into the Twin Towers tragedy only tackled events on the initial impact floors, not the physics behind the subsequent collapse. It left the field wide open for conspiracy theorists who point to the unexpectedly rapid collapse amid reports of explosions.
So.
Nuclear chemist Dr. Frank Greening was also surprised that the towers collapsed so quickly.
I watched this whole thing unfold like everybody did, and then of course the South Tower collapses. The top section just crushes the lower section. A little later, the North Tower does the same thing, and I'm just shocked, horrified, and I say to myself, how could this happen?
Not to mention Building 7.
Greening felt that until the mechanics of the collapse were properly understood, the fanatical rumors would simply not go away. He decided to calculate whether the towers would collapse under their own weight, without the need for explosives.
Oh,
the first
Jesus.
thing I felt needed to be cleared up was, could the building collapse
My bad.
the way we saw it, or did it actually need help from explosives, as some people were suggesting? I really threw myself into 9/11 research, and I decided I wanted to apply science, physics to studying this problem. I set up a computer program based on momentum transfer to look at each impact of each floor.
Greening's momentum transfer program calculated the weight of the buildings above the impact floors. He discovered that if one floor failed, the weight of the higher floors would cause each floor below to give way exactly as seen. As the impacts were on different
this is not
floors,
what we were looking
the
for.
simulation would need to account for the differing mass above each.
Scroll forward.
There were
see what
two floors. Point.
It showed the
impact site of the.
Once the building started to collapse, there was no stopping it. It was equivalent to the mass of the Titanic.
Yeah, that's
it's
not
about
what we were looking
38,000.
The whole thing is that there's a lot of.
Hold on, what's that? Not climate change.
Let's see.
So this whole complex is going to burn. And there's a good reason we're burning this. Here I am setting up a whole bunch of GoPros to try to get ready for igniting 350,000 laser cut pieces of cardboard and film it in slow motion to help us understand these Western fires.
So when the lights go out, don't move. Gasoline.
The reason they're doing this is that it is extremely important to understand fire, maybe now more than ever. So let me back up to why we're doing this.
We can't just put the fires out because we can't put them out. We've tried that now for a century and it doesn't work. It just makes the next one worse.
You may see a place like this and think total devastation. And it's not your fault for thinking that. It's probably how it was portrayed in the media.
Destroying entire town. They are beyond our control.
The worst in the world.
The amount of destruction is staggering.
That climate change has turned devastating wildfires into an annual event in California.
But that depiction is, as we've learned from countless experts over the last 2 weeks, not the whole story, and not how you should think about wildfires. The truth is, there are a lot of habitats out west, and fire affects them each in unique ways. So it's important to start understanding the big picture when you start thinking about wildland fires.
I don't think this is it either.
But first,
I don't
to
either.
the very basics.
However,
Smith.
I do like the fact that they're kind of blowing the media up, being like, hey, this is not as bad as you think it is.
So the fires network.
You see the flames at the very top and how they're sticking to the slope?
They really are. Everybody's laying down.
They're laying down. Well, that's flame attachment. Actually a very difficult thing to understand.
Here at the Fire Lab, the scientists study the basics of fire. Understanding the complexities here helps firefighters and forest managers in the field better predict and fight wildland fires.
Fires are inevitable. The only choices that we really have is what kind of fire to have and when do we want it. And that's it. Almost? Ready. You're ready. Jason's ready.
Mark's team is prepping to light a huge bed of precisely cut cardboard.
You're not going to be in any danger. So when the lights go out, don't move. Gasoline.
This is one of many experiments they'll run to understand the physics of fire, how it moves, how it spreads, and all of this measured by precise scientific instruments and high-speed cameras. Tens of thousands of pieces of cardboard off the flames in mere seconds. The ongoing research will help us better understand fire with the ultimate goal that we can live better with it. But can we do that? And there is one forest we knew of that seems to have figured out this coexistence with fire, a place where fires burn all summer, every summer. It's part of their way of life and a mentality we wanted to know about. And
yeah,
they view it differently here.
No,
that fire's medicine.
I
Because
want
it's not. If it
evidence. Dun, 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 dun.
And the lack of the evidence must mean there's something up.
Yeah, I think so. But, like, I really want to know, like, is there more?
Try this one. I'm sending it to the Discord.
Okay.
See what this shows.
Like, Conspiracy Corner is getting pretty good. Okay, what is this? What are we doing here?
Okay, supposedly this is directed in. Is this alive?
Here we go.
Central Time on the 9th of October 2020. Gotta keep my voice down. Wife is asleep downstairs, but I've got some breaking news for everybody, and this has to do with the directed energy weapon beams that we've been seeing. I'm going to get a display.
Fast forward to like 3 minutes.
This is three-dimensional now, no doubt about it, and this is something very fun. Many of them legit. There. Okay. So this appeared here. Many of my viewers contacted me asking me what I thought it was. I decided to go look up the location where the beam is going down to. This is three-dimensional now, no doubt about it, and this is something very far up in space, and this is something on the ground. Let me show you what's there. We're going down here to Florida. Zooming in on the area just to make sure. Here's Florida. And we have a hotspot signature there. Hotspot signature, which is detected by GOES as a fire.
Ooh.
But just to show you that it matches.
Oh,
shit.
Florida, I'm going to come in on a very close look in on the Florida coast now. And we will hit play again. And I'll just bring it forward to the spot where there. Okay.
Huh? What is that?
So you see this little inlet of a bay right here, and how this comes off of Florida, it's pretty easy to find.
Huh.
So we're going right in.
Right there.
So let's zoom in on the area. Here's the hotspot, and there's a airport right there called Tyndall Air Force Base. This is the Space Communications Wing. Look, the Space Communications Wing for the U.S. Air Force. Tyndall.
Interesting.
And the hotspot coming from over here, right next to a series of what appear to be some kind of radar stations of some kind. So let's go back over and look at the beam. Coming up from the Space Communications Wing at the Air Force Base, going up into space, or coming from down out of space, going down into the Air Force Base. There is no doubt about it. It's a perfect match. Perfect match. And this is showing up on shortwave infrared. Right there.
Whoop.
So look at the nature of the beam. Look how wide it is. But I would imagine the center of the beam to be pretty narrow, and we're seeing the quote-unquote glow on that in shortwave. It's amazing. I can't believe it. So let's look at particle near infrared, see if it shows up there. Does not show up on particle near infrared. Let's go down to long wave infrared, see if it shows up there.
There's another one.
Okay, long wave infrared is showing something going down to the coast of Louisiana, right down here in southwest Louisiana in long wave infrared. Let's go down and see what's in southwest Louisiana, right down here. The next rad radar station.
Holy smokes, there's a freaking hotspot right there.
Station is right there.
Oh no, it's a hotspot.
No shit. I can't believe this. So here it is. There it is. Again, at an airport. Beaming down to an airport. Oh, Fort Polk is to the north.
Huh.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay. I mean, you know, obviously.
Could be just a glitch, could be something there.
Have a
well,
beam of energy.
I just. Like, this guy looks like he is pretty clearly a
weirdo,
very in-depth
it's an
conspiracy theorist.
Consequence.
I think Probe skipped out because he hadn't said anything.
Cross bleeding over.
He could have.
Differences that are not intended to show
But
this.
I mean, regardless, this is fucking like all this stuff is super interesting to me.
Right.
You know, I'm much more about like the weaponry and things of that nature when it comes to conspiracy land. And I think that once again, you knocked it out of the park. Good job, Joe.
Hey, thank you for the topic.
Hey, you're welcome. It just, so like, first off, that's it for Joe's Conspiracy Corner. So I don't know why, but I was just sitting at home and it just popped in my head like directed energy weapons, that's something that Joe needs to talk about. So I sent it to you, and I was like, surely you can find some stuff on this.
Probst says he's here. Probst, what do you got? Do you have anything to add to our
share, please?
Yeah, do you have anything to add to our directed energy weapons that you would like us to kind of put out there, or do you feel like we covered it pretty well?
Well, I mean,
just let us know.
You covered it pretty well.
Well, whatever.
But
the show covered it.
I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, we're running out of time, so
yeah,
it could be something that we revisit at a later date when we have a little bit more to go on.
Right.
But I think at this point we really just have time for a funny.
Not really much going
on in the stock market financial wise.
It is up this week a little bit.
It's down overall.
Oh yeah, like the past year we're still down.
We're down a lot.
800.
Yeah. But do you have a funny? Or do we need to find one?
I do not have. Wait, I did send you one. Remember?
I don't remember what it was.
Let me see.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. We're going to run a little bit long tonight. It's fine. Forgot to pull up the greatest doctor in the world getting booed.
Oh, yeah. And while you're doing that, I'm going to see if I can find that funny.
Well, it seems the First Lady could have had a moment of tension earlier this year.
Nope, that's not what I want. I just want the video.
Oh, yes.
No, that's not it either. You suck. All right, well, I guess we're just going to go to this one.
Well, it seems the First Lady could have had a moment of tension earlier this year. The difference is
here we go.
From some, she also had a few critics in the crowd. Take a listen.
Fuck Joe Biden.
That's pretty bad.
Philadelphia hates your ass.
All right, funny incoming to the Discord.
Okay. What is this?
It's an oldie but a goodie. You might remember it.
Oh, I've seen this one, yeah. This is great.
Welcome back to our coverage of the game of the year between Yale and North Carolina.
Aussie Man Reacts kind of reminded me of this.
An unbelievably well-fought match tonight, and it's come down to penalty kicks. Peterson for Yale, taking the first approach.
Oh, there it is! Spectacular! North Carolina's goalkeeper Richards just let one in past him now, so now the burden rests on Yale's Scott Sterling.
Here he comes, nerves of steel, that man, dealing with more pressure now than a submarine.
Indeed.
Home crowd showing some appreciation.
Johnson places the ball on the spot, getting ready. That man literally has a cannon for a leg.
Yes, he does.
Here he goes, winding up for the shot, and oh! The cannon has fired and hit Sterling directly to the face.
We clocked that at a stunning 116 kilometers per hour.
Now that's a lot of miles per hour.
Little chance that man's nose is not broken right now.
Oh, indeed. Now Sterling getting checked out for that one. Spectacular save, though, but sadly, he's not out of the woods yet.
On his feet now, a bit shaken.
But not stirred.
This crowd absolutely loves this man.
And Sterling's teammates welcome him back, a hero, for now.
Yale's up again for the second attempt, looking to make it 2-0.
He approaches the ball with some determination. Here he goes.
Oh, it's high and wide, way off target.
Yes, apparently he thought he was kicking a field goal.
Wrong kind of football, I'd say.
Good show.
Back
Good
now
show.
to Scott Sterling. He looks a bit worse for wear, but ready for round two.
And Shaw takes a moment. Here he goes with the approach.
Oh! Sterling with a fantastic dive. The ball flies straight through his hands and once again strikes him straight in the schnoz.
And let's see it again on the old instant replay. Oh, every excruciating detail captured in HD
perfection. Clocked at 129 kilometers per hour. Sterling does not look well.
Yeah, you're all right.
Saves and 2 definite concussions.
They may replace him at this point. He's done all he can.
Yes, as his trainer takes him off the field like a mustached lion dragging a gazelle through the Serengeti.
Adieu, Scott Sterling.
Adieu.
Yale now with their third PK. Richards is in the goal, bouncing like an infant girl.
The crowd holds their breath as he goes in. Here it comes! Oh! Very anticlimactic.
Let's see who they got to replace Scott
Sterling is back!
He's still in the game!
Oh my! And he's taking a very odd tactic now.
Seems to be curling up to protect his face.
Not exactly a recommended technique, but here it goes. Wait, no, Lampert needs to tie his shoe. Ho-ho! And that's why you do a double knot, kids.
Sterling still waiting for the kick to happen. He's probably wondering when. Oh! Sweet! What a crumpet! The ball drills Sterling right in the face.
That man's nose must be absolutely devastated. He's gonna look like a witch that flew her broom into her nose and then crashed into a hammer.
I hardly even care about this attempt. Let's go back to Scott Sterling!
The man!
The myth! The legend!
3 perfect blocks by Sterling and his cat-like face reflexes.
Absolutely incredible. Though I must say, Sterling does not look well at all.
Well, you know football players like to add a bit of drama, don't they?
They're gonna take him out. No, wait! They brought him a chair!
Oh, a bold move by the manager! Bates sets up for the 4th attempt.
And this, frankly, is a gimme. He literally just has to kick it anywhere except where Sterling is sitting.
There is no possible way that North Carolina can mess up this shot. Oh! 158 kilometers per hour!
This man can do no wrong!
Look at him beg for mercy when it's mercy
No.
that should be begging for him.
He has looked death in the eye and said, take your best shot. To which Death replies by punching him in the face over and over and over again.
If Yale makes this final shot, it's all over. But no! Oh, he misses, which means we're going to Scott Sterling!
His face is like a brick wall.
A brick wall that can feel pain and cries a lot.
But where's Sterling? He seems to be crawling away from the goal. What is he doing?
He's throwing away the bat!
Look at that! He played it just right! What incredible instincts to crawl away from the goal like that!
And his teammates rush the field, happy as a lark as they slide in!
A Bernini sculpture of a finish!
As his teammates carry him off on the stretcher
Oh my
of glory,
God.
we thank you for sharing this absolutely heart-stopping finish.
Scott Sterling and his face of steel have won it all.
That's probably one of the better funnies that we've had.
I bet Tim Howard could have saved
ever. And it's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
Scott Sterling!
Scott Sterling and his brick wall of a face.
They have Scott Sterling volleyball, and apparently a Scott Sterling Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh my God. I think we're going to go down the Scott Sterling rabbit hole quite a bit.
Like that's we got plenty of that.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do one more Scott Sterling.
They have an update. They made an update for me to see his face.
Send it to the Discord.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. It is there.
Oh, God.
This is breaking news from Channel 8.
How's my hair? God, what do you know? Come on. Scott Sterling.
What is this?
Scott, you had a tremendous game
no
against
interviews.
North Carolina, and we've received reports that soccer teams from all around the globe are looking to draft
the
you.
myth,
What is
the
your comment
legend.
on that? What are your thoughts?
All right, what? How dare you? This man has disgusting soup for a face, and you expect him to give you an interview right now? Huh? Huh? No mirror. Scare yourself.
But fans everywhere want to know, is Scott Sterling returning to the field? Will he play again?
You know, will global warming kill us all? Will taxes ever go down? Will my mom ever hug me? No one knows, but it doesn't look good.
Scott, your fans are clamoring to buy your jersey.
You know, the jersey's not for sale, okay? No! What is this? Get rid of this box right now, okay? Just leave him be, okay? He's got roadkill for a face. Come on. Give him sympathy.
Roadkill
What are you
for a
getting all these
face.
Scott,
Ma'am,
Scott,
I need you out of
we
here.
just have a few more
No,
questions.
I need
Scott,
you out
will
of
you
here.
play
I was
professionally?
not asking
How
you.
long is your
Get
recovery
out.
expectancy?
Get out.
How much are your teeth going for on eBay?
How much are your teeth for going for on eBay?
I'm a big Scott Sterling fan. You think he'd mind signing my soccer ball? I don't know. This is... Okay, he'll do it. Thanks, Scott.
Oh!
I'm sorry, it slipped.
Just received word from our news station that the LA Galaxy wants to make Scott an offer. We'll give you updates as this story unfolds.
Oh, sorry, it slipped again.
You people have no shame. So do not click on this box. Scott Sterling is a man, not some commercial enterprise. It doesn't matter how good this shirt looks or that it's reasonably priced. And whatever you do, don't buy it for a friend or a family member. Yeah, they don't need that
If
stuff.
if that shirt actually exists, I want one. I want one.
Okay? Just don't. Okay, bud?
I feel like we should make one,
No?
even if it doesn't exist in real life.
The man,
the
myth, the legend, Scott Sterling.
Well, it's been a great show.
It's been pretty good.
I feel like we had a lot of fun tonight, and I feel like we hit all the things that we needed to hit. And I wish that we had more.
Damn it!
Oh my God. Well, guess what? It's recorded and it's going to be on Rumble, you bitch.
Sucker.
Suck on my nuts, YouTube. But anyway, so since it's been temporarily suspended, we're just going to go with the usual. I'm Justin.
I'm Joe.
Tally ho, lads.